After a while, because of my personality and nature, I wanted to do other things as well as snooker. And in the sort of middle to late 80s, I decided, you know what? I think I'll be a boxing promoter. White Hart Lane claims its place in British boxing history by staging the richest ever fight held in Europe. Frank Bruno versus Joe Bugner, a £3 million bonanza that's about to happen.
Having conquered snooker, boxing was next on Barry's hit list. His first venture into the fight game was to set up a heavyweight battle of epic proportions. Decided if I was going to do it, I'd got to do something big. My ego wouldn't let me do anything small. So, the ultimate ticket-selling fight. Everybody loved Frank Bruno, everybody hated Joe Bugner, and, you know, it made a lot of money.
Barry offered us the fight, and I didn't believe him, see. I didn't think he could deliver.
Greg Dyke was really funny, you know. He was the only man in my life that ever, in television, paid me more than I asked for because he didn't believe I could deliver.
He said we could have it for 200 grand, which I thought was, if you could get it for 200 grand, it was a steal. My worry was that he couldn't get it. So I offered him more. I said, look, if you can get this, I'll give you more than that. I'll give you $250,000.
And he's going to let him box on, and he's pinned in Bruno's corner, and it won't go surely now.
I pride myself on always delivering.
The towel has come in from the Australian's corner.
When I say something, wrong or right, I honestly believe that. And when I give you my hand, you take my heart. With me, a contract is fine, but if I give my word to something, I would rather die than lose that. A quarter of a century on from that first fight, Barry is still heavily involved in the sport.
Dressing rooms upstairs? Yeah. The fighters' dressing rooms upstairs? Yeah. Yes.
He's managed more than 30 world champions and promoted over 500 fights. And in that time, he's not taken too many wrong turns.
Sorry. I think it must be this one. Who's in where?
He understands how to make something seem exciting. He understands that having an event in itself isn't enough. You have to build it up and you have to make it into a spectacular.
It's good performance. Yeah. So far, good performance. Well done.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
You've got plenty of the crowd with you, son. And box well, yeah?
He understands what the public, particularly the male public, will watch. And that was always the genius, really.
One of the most successful ideas to shake up boxing has been prize fighter. It's an 8-man contest fought over one night of 3-round bouts, with the last man standing picking up a big check. The punters may love it, but the purists are not so sure.
It's just something I've never got into, though I've had 2 boxers who have gone and won prize fights and both won £32,000 each, and obviously I've taken my management percentage, so I have earned out of it. But to me, it's not boxing. It's not what a traditional boxing person likes, and I'm a traditional boxing person.
Everyone's always said, oh, I know your father, I worked with him for years. Wow, he's one of the straightest men in boxing, and that's actually quite nice to hear. And that's something he's always installed in us, you know, that whole time, is do things properly, be upfront with people, tell them the truth. Nothing can ever come back to us.
I've always found it to be fair. If he says he's going to pay me £1, he'll pay me £1. If he makes £1 and 20p, you know, that's down to him. He doesn't tell you about the 20p, he tells you about the £1. He's promised you. But everything he always says he does deliver. That I will say about him, unlike a lot of other people in boxing.
I know to beat him, but we're making that.
Another 3 rounds might have been a difference.
Yeah.
Once you close that distance. I always wanted to be heavyweight champion of the world when I was a youngster. I just unfortunately had no ability, but I never lost my love of the sport and my respect for the people that do it, because it is the toughest game of all.
I felt that. It's put me right off my pork pie.
You know, and even today, you know, we look forward to the careers of some of the young fighters we've got. And when I think about it, I'm buzzing. We'll be in Vegas. We're going to take the title. We're going to beat up everybody. We're going to rock the world.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, putting suckers in fear.
Back in the early 90s, Barry was the king of British boxing, managing the most explosive talent of the era, Christopher Livingstone Eubank. As he had done with Davis in snooker, he formed a very close bond with his latest sporting protégé. It proved to be an intense relationship.
I loved Eubank, no question. I think he's a very special guy. I mean, he's infuriating, he's eccentric, slightly mad, but I would not have swapped a minute with Chris Eubank.
I don't know if Barry really knows it, but I think I actually discovered Chris Eubanks. His first couple of fights were on my shows, and he came to see me, and we fell out over a cup of Earl Grey tea. He wanted Earl Grey tea, and I only had ordinary tea in the office. And next thing I knew, he signed with Barry Hearns, and you know, him and Barry were a good partnership. You had the showman, and you had the ringmaster.
Ronnie Davis was Eubank's trainer. I think it's fair to say Ronnie Davis and me would have taken a bullet for Eubank on the way into the ring. Now that's an intensity that sounds simple, but I'm serious. We would have taken a bullet for that man.
This man is somehow, I think his heart is good. I don't know why it's good. I mean, you don't find promoters with good hearts. They usually use fighters as meat. This man gives a fair deal.
The Hearn name continues to be a powerful and influential one in the sport, but it's son Eddie who is now the more prominent promoter in boxing.
I'm always going to be Barry Hearn's son. That's fine, I'm proud to be it. But what he's always installed in me is a working class attitude. And that's something that will never leave me. So I get up every morning, you know, I spend time with my daughter, I go to work, I work my cods off all day. Advice comes from him all the time. You know, he always says to me, which something that always stands out to me in business is always leave a little bit of bread in the fish's mouth. You know, and that sometimes, you know, greed is a very dangerous thing, not just in business but in life. And it just makes you think, yeah, maybe you're right, you know. Don't just go for the kill straight off.